Hi, good afternoon. These notes are on composition of transformations. So a composition of transformation is a combination of two or more transformations, each performed on the previous image. Make sure you label each image with the prime symbols. So A, B, C is now A prime, B prime, C prime, A double prime, B double prime, C double prime, etc. A rigid transformation, also called isometry, is a transformation on the plane that preserves length, shape, and size. So it does not change the size of it or the shape of it. All it does is just move it on the graph. Non-rigid transformations does change the size of it, but not the shape of the pre-image. So this would be dilations. This would be all the other translations, such as your transformations, such as your translation, your rotation, and your reflection. A guide reflection is a composition of a translation and a reflection on the line parallel to the direction of translation. So, for example, if I were to do a translation where I slid to the left and then I reflected over the y-axis, this would be called a glide reflection. All right, so we're going to move down here and we're going to look at what I've done so far. So I took care of a few things just to save on time. We're going to use, for numbers 1 through 3, given triangle CAT with these 3 points, we're going to, for number 1, we're going to reflect over the x-axis, then do a dilation of 1/3. So I went ahead and did it for you. So I drew the triangle CAT. I wrote my points out here. Then I reflected it over the x-axis. I know that reflections, when you reflect over a certain axis, you change the value, the sign of one of the points. So because I was going over the x-axis, my x stayed the same and my y changed to its opposite, so it flipped it over here. So here's my new C prime, A prime, T prime, and there are my new points. Then a dilation means to multiply, so I took my new points right here and I multiplied by 1/3, and it gave me these new points, which then I was able to graph right here for C double prime, A double prime, T double prime. Then the second one is a translation where you're going to be sliding your object. So X, Y, we want to move it 4 spaces to the right and 3 spaces down, then a rotation of 90 degrees counterclockwise. So again, I graphed triangle CAT and I put my points here. Then I translated it 4 units to the right and 3 units down. So I went ahead and did that in my points, and then I was able to graph it, and I was able to move it 4 units to the right and 3 units down. And there's my new triangle C prime, A prime, T prime, and there are my new points. Then I was able to take my new points and rotate it counterclockwise. So if I'm starting over here on the x-axis, I'm now going to be on the y-axis, and so I just flipped my point. So it was 7, 0, now it's 0, 7, and so now here's my C double prime. Then I took my A prime and I flipped the numbers 3, 1, and I then gave the -1 because it's in quadrant 4. And then my last one is -2, 0. So then I flipped them and did 0, -2, but then I saw that I was on the y-axis in the positive direction, so it made it +2. So there's my C double prime, A double prime, T double prime. All right, here's a third one that we're actually going to do together. So a reflection over the x-axis, then a translation, or y-axis, then a translation of left 1 and up 4. So let's go ahead and go across the y-axis. If I'm going across the y, my y stays the same and my x changes to its opposite. So I'm going to write my new points. So my x is going to stay, or my x is going to change to its opposite, and my y is going to stay. Okay. So those are my new points, and I'm going to go ahead and graph those. So my new point C is -3, 3. And I like to label as I go so I don't forget, and then 3, 6. And then 6, oops, that should have been T, sorry about that. And then 3, 6. So now I have reflected it over the y-axis, and then it wants me to translate this new one. It wants me to go left 1 and up 4. So I'm going to subtract 1 and add 4 to these points. So subtract 1 would make it -4, and then add 4, which would make it 7. So -4, 7. And there's my new C double prime. And then 3, 6, I'm going to subtract 1 and then add 4. So now I'm going to move A, I'm going to move it 1 place to the left and 4 places up. 1, 2, 3, 4. So then there's my A double prime. And then my last one, I'm going to subtract 1 and get 5, and then I'm going to add 4 to get 7. And then I'm going to go ahead and just move this left 1 and up 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there is my new triangle, C double prime, A double prime, T double prime. So I've gone from green, I flipped it to pink, and then pink shifted up to blue. All right, and this last one is triangle DOG, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and find the new composition of the triangle DOG. Now, a glide reflection, remember, it just means that you're going to be gliding and then reflecting. So it's going to be pretty simple right there for you to do. On the inside, just some more practice. So, you know, these 3, it just kind of gives you 2 or more things to do. And then this number 8, it actually allows you to create your own composition. So go ahead and give it a name: triangle, rectangle, ABC, ABCD. Maybe you want to spell your name out. Give the points that you want to start with, and then give 2 different transformations, and then actually complete it on the grid. And then over here, we've got some more practice. This, you don't actually have to graph anything, but you do need to tell what happened. So if we start with this triangle ABC, and then now it looks like it reflected over the x-axis. So we could say reflection over x-axis. And then it looks like it went from A prime to A double prime up here, and it looks like it slid over. So let's see how many times it slid. So here's B. And I'm going to count over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it went left 6. So we did a translation of x plus 6. And then we went up 1, 2. So y plus 2. So we did a reflection and we did a translation. And then you're going to do the same thing here. And then if you go down here, number 11, it says if you take the double image A prime, B prime, C prime from number 9 and reflect it over the x-axis. So you're going to take this right here and you're going to reflect it over the x-axis. What would be the new coordinates? You might have to draw your coordinate plane a little darker just to see that. So you're going to give 3 points there for A, B, C. And then for 12 through 15, you're just going to match A, B, C, D to one of these. And then down here, number 16, I just want you to describe in your own words the difference between rigid and non-rigid, and then give examples of transformations of which ones are rigid and non-rigid. All right, well, I hope that you guys have a great afternoon. If you have any questions, I will be back next Tuesday. I will also see you in class on Wednesday. Make any comments at the bottom if you have any, and I hope you guys have a great weekend.